Hey everyone, I'm back with a new video, and I'm currently on my way to Rocky Glen Park. In the past couple of days, there's been some reports that the lake has been drained, and I found that hard to believe for myself until I actually saw some photos and video from other members showing that most of the water is drained out of the lake. So as soon as I saw that, I knew it was something I needed to see for myself. So I got in touch with Andy from the Rocky Glen Facebook Memories group. If you're not aware of that group and like to join it, I'll put a link down below in the description. But I'm going to meet up with him here. We're going to check it out for ourselves and see if we can get some answers as to what's going on or why it was drained. So I'll see you at the park. Okay guys, I'm at Rocky Glen now. I've got Andy joining me, and we're going to see what the situation is with the lake and the dam. We saw some numerous photos and videos that people were here already, and maybe we can uncover some answers and see what's going on. But just be prepared, it's most likely going to be a sad sight. But we'll be here momentarily and show you what's going on.
Maybe we'll find a body or two. Who knows?
And it's a very sad situation here. I'm going to pan up the camera and show you what we're looking at now. That's about probably 95% drained. Unbelievable. I bet where that pole is where the drain is. And you can see from this angle the pump house is completely gone. Yeah, the remnants of it are laying on the ground, but I'll put a before picture showing how it looks from up here. We'll get a closer look down there a little bit later. Sorry about the wind, it's very windy all of a sudden. I believe that's where the drain is. It's a, I think, a measuring stick.
Yeah.
Some kind of metal cage there. There's a step over there. I remember seeing that when I was snorkeling. If you guys remember too, last summer I actually snorkeled this lake around the perimeter of the main lake and the outlet here. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it down below in the description. You can see some of the remnants under the water, but now everything is clearly exposed. And it's kind of an eerie sight in a weird way. Any initial thoughts?
Well, I mean, the dam has been the lake itself has been drained several times over its lifetime. I don't know though if this is the deepest it's ever been drained. I know that back in the early 1900s, after it was built, they had some issues with land ownership when E.S. Williams took his half of the park versus Frothingham who on the other half of the park. That E.S. Williams was letting the water go so that the lake would go down so that they couldn't have people on their half of the park. But it had been drained over the years. There were times where you know, they would drain it in the wintertime for ice, to make the ice skating better. I guess there's I'm not sure how it works, but I guess draining the water underneath it lets the ice settle better. I'm not I don't make ice, so I couldn't tell you the rationale behind that. But you know, it is an eerie sight. You know, it's honestly, it's like finding out that a family member has cancer and you're seeing them for the first time, like on their deathbed, because that's what this looks like. It looks like Rocky Glen is frail. There's nothing left of it, and it looks like it's ready to die. But you know, as we've said many times, it's not like the park was ever going to come back. You know, it was a delaying of the inevitable. I think we always wanted it to just stay woods, but who knows what the actual plans are. You know, it's not owned by, it's privately owned, so it's really their land to do with. I mean, you can see some interesting things that are in the water, and there's no telling how long they've been in here. I mean, the dam itself is 115 years old. And again, I don't know how deep this has ever been drained out before, but I mean, you can see there's metal there, there's metal on the other side, there's something in the middle over there. And it could be any number of things. It could be something from recent that somebody dumped in. It could be something of history that was dropped in there and never removed. But it is interesting to see how the dam itself was built. As you can see, there is mounds of dirt on this side as well as the mound of dirt that are on this side, which, you know, back in the day when this was built, this was much more wide open at one time. So it's, who knows why they really did this. They could be shoring up the dam. The dam is 115 years old. It hasn't been worked on regularly by any means. They could be doing this to fix the dam, but who knows, they could be removing it. So whatever happens in the end is what happens in the end. But it is a sight to see. It's probably something we'll never see again, especially if it is completely drained dry. There's always going to be a stream of some sort, because Stafford Meadowbrook, which comes from the other side, and I think it's Covey Creek that comes from this side, they both meet here. So there's going to be some sort of stream that still exists here. It just may not be a giant body of water at that time. So it is interesting to see it, though, from this other side. I've never seen it, you know, from this side. And of course there's debris and all kind of stuff in here. So I mean, maybe we get lucky, we'll find something of interest sticking out of the water. The ground itself is really soft, so we can't actually go in there. I didn't bring boots.
I'll go down. I'll get a look.
But I know some people already filmed videos on the other side, and they were stepping in and they were sinking because the ground is not frozen. I mean, of course, the ground's been saturated for, you know, 100 years, so it's not going to just harden up overnight. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, Andy really put it into perspective, saying that this is probably the dying of Rocky Glen. I mean, obviously the park, as he mentioned, is never going to come back, but the lake was the last piece that was untouched since the park closed. It's the last feature that drew people here. One of the main reasons we held our tours here every year, because the lake is still here, practically untouched and very beautiful. And now with this, if this is indeed gone for good, that's basically putting the bullet in the head, calling it quits for the park, and we'll never see it back again.
And I am glad that, you know, over the years, you know, we've already documented this as much as we could, you know, because like I always say on the tours, there's going to be a future generation that's going to watch this video. We may be long dead, just like we're talking about Frothingham and E.S. Williams 100 years after them. They probably like, well, nobody's going to be talking to us about us in 2018.
Yeah.
But here we are in 2018 talking about them. There could be somebody talking about us in, you know, 2118, and they wanted to know what Rocky Glen was at one time. and we documented it pretty good, I think, when it was here, you know, abandoned remains.
And do you want to tell new people, in case they're not aware, about your Facebook group?
Yeah, if you are interested in Rocky Glen, you can go to Rocky Glen Park Memories. That's on Facebook. Just search Rocky Glen Park Memories, and you'll find the groups and sign up.
How many members you got about?
We're at 11,700 current members, which is pretty good for a defunct park that's been gone for 30 years.
Right.
And you know, there's businesses that are open today that don't have that many people either.
And you'll find thousands of photos, videos, memories from people that used to work here, used to play here, met their loved ones here.
Yeah, so it's quite a little. It's got our little niche, our little corner of Facebook. So. And
if you're not aware too, on my channel I have a playlist dedicated to Rocky Glen. I'll link that down below. It has every video I've ever filmed here, probably over the past 6 or 7 years, including aerial footage and the walking tours and even underground footage when I snorkel the lake. So if you guys want to catch up on your history and see how it progressed over the years, definitely check them out. Partially soft, partially frozen here, so it's a little tricky walking. Kind of sinking here. I'm not going to go much closer, but once we get on the other side, I'll zoom in and show you the drainage area here. That's a measuring stick showing the water level. You can see we got someone doing some metal detecting. He said he found a few coins here and some other Rocky Glen related items. And this is just simply incredible. It's hard to believe what we're looking at right now. So what we're going to do is probably walk along the edge here, get a closer look at those items in the water, and then we'll head over to the main part of the lake. But while we're here, I'm going to snap some photos to share with everyone and for my own personal memories, because there's a good chance it's never going to be filled again, never going to be drained again. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, because as long as I've been alive, this lake has never been drained. If anything, it's been very high from all the rain we've had. So it's just, even though I've been underwater in this lake, it doesn't do it justice to see it how it is now. And this is the deepest part of this reservoir here. And I remember I snorkeled right across it and I couldn't see the bottom. And where I'm standing, that's probably closer to 30 feet deep. And I guarantee it probably goes deeper. That's why there's still water there. So this is much deeper than people ever imagined. And just trying to take it all in. It's very sad though. I just wanted to show it too. This is the back side of the dam that would be completely underwater. So it's completely exposed now. So what we're looking at right here is the remnants of the pump house, or the valve house, however you want to call it. And we're witnessing Rocky Glen Lake going down the drain, literally. You can see how it's built right against the dam here.
It's interesting that that rock is literally been encased without sunlight for 115 years.
And that's back here. This was here even before the mountain dipped, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This was, the dam itself was built in 1903. So all of these things that you see here predate 1903. Obviously they were built before that, but
So they even had the
this
valve.
well house was not used in decades.
long before the park even closed.
In 1979, there was a report. I actually shared it on the Rocky Glen site about the structural deficiencies of the dam back then, and I think that's when they put all the dirt in front of the dam to give it some
Support.
Support, yeah. But this house really had no entrance to it, so I'm not even sure how they actually got into it or out of it, and that's probably why nobody ever did anything
I'd
with
imagine
it.
they probably had to chisel it away, get an opening, and when they're done, reseal it back up. You can tell there's two valves here too. One, I think that one is not operable because there's no water coming out of that pipe. Only this one.
I believe that the report did say that one of the valves only worked and the other one did not.
Yeah, so that's definitely holding true then. Just imagine this dam holding back all that water all that time. It's an eerie sight, definitely. I'll give you a look from a distance away on the other side here. And right next to that is the dam itself, which is now dried up. It's probably the first time we ever see it like this, because at some point or another there's always water trickling over it.
Yeah, it's been a long time since anybody's been able to walk up to it and touch it.
This is like some pretty thick moss too. It's been caked in.
Been there for a while.
It's all smooth big rock here. Right next to where the house was, found these railroad tracks laying here, but they're covered in concrete and block, which I believe they were used as supports for that pump house, but it's neat to see them though. Okay, I'm going to zoom in now and show you the intake of the pipes there. So that's where all the water is exiting through the dam and on the other side that we just saw. And I showed you this earlier. I think this is one of those little jungle gym things you see in a playground where you climb over it. It's almost like a dome shape. I believe that's what that is. And right in front of me is a hood to a snowmobile. And you can't see it from here, but in the water there are some timber sticking out too, like old supports or something, which is kind of odd.
Look at your foot. Looks like somebody did a slice from Glen Mara.
Oh yeah, golf ball.
That's glittering.
Now right here where I'm walking would have been underwater probably about a week ago. It's a very nasty smell though, from all the earth being exhumed, all the natural decay and everything. So you can see how deep this was. This gives you a really good picture of it. And that's a big wooden structure. You can see some of the, I think those are tree stumps. Look at that. It's a crane or herring. But yeah, you can see there's a little culvert they made to have the water continue flowing. Looks like that was intentionally made because the water is probably damming up back there, so they made a little trench to keep the water flowing. Look at it, it comes all the way up here too. I mean,
yeah,
it's pretty large.
I'm trying to think what.
You think maybe part of the platform for the lower line?
No, they're farther. Can you zoom in and get close-ups of all that, and then we'll watch the video? I'll try to look at the historical pictures and see if I can see what it is. There was really nothing on this side. Even the $1 Million Coaster was over a lot farther. See that thing that's up there on the end? That looks like a light, like a searchlight.
The little box there?
Yeah, you see the tan thing?
Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, I'm zoomed in on it. I can't see the front side of it, but it does appear to be one. There's a pipe sticking out of the ground there. I'm not quite sure what that structure is in the water, but Andy asked me to zoom in on it, so during the playback of the video, maybe him or someone else will be able to identify what that is. But across the way here, there's some kind of metal round structure. I'm going to zoom in on that and give you a closer look at it. Okay, so we're getting some interesting discoveries here, seeing the water pulled back right in front of us. I almost missed it. It looks like to be a pretzel car or whip car. You can see the caster wheel mounts on the back of it. Yeah, it looks like the frame of it. There used to be several of these sitting topside right up here, back probably about 7-8 years ago, but someone removed them, but it appears one of them fell in.
It probably got drunk and fell in.
And we found a little toy car. Yeah, and this piece here, not quite sure what that is. Looks like it would stand up. This bottom part is larger in diameter than the top, so it looks like maybe it would stand up and maybe something would be over it.
Sank right to the bottom.
It looks like somebody tried to make their way down here. It's all dug in. I'm actually going to go down and snap a photo. I'm going to hand Andy the camera here.
And hopefully this doesn't make the blooper reel.
Kind of soft there. Yeah, it's got 3 mounts on it. Yeah, it's wooden though. It's wooden frame with metal on the outside. So just upstream a little bit from the pretzel car, we discovered some blue railing here, which probably was railing for one of the rides, as well as some rolled up fencing. Here are people in the background. There's also a horseshoe submerged in the water. Here's a better look at that thing. I'll zoom in again. Looks almost like a paddle wheel, but it's not. It's 2 different diameters. Pretty strange though. We got some more metal detectors here.
Yeah, there's definitely gonna be a lot of those out with this, and I don't blame them. There's probably a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah, if I had one, I'd come and get it.
Down there, it looks so crystal clear. It's the ice, but
Yeah.
I am not going down there.
That's a rubber raft somebody probably was in here with. The rope swing was right here too.
I can go down to this. That doesn't make sense.
I think that's soft.
You think?
I think. It's an old bottle there. Oh, look at. Yeah, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Look at this. They have water coming out of here now. So,
I gotta pull your ass out.
looks like there's something made here, an old tunnel or something where the water came out. I'm actually gonna try and get a picture of that down there, so I'll let you know if it's soft or not. This is pretty strange. I never knew this was here. So this has been underwater the entire time. That's really awesome. Wonder why this was made, because this would have been submerged the whole time.
Coming from the other one on the other side.
This is where the water originally came down this way, and now it's just a little tiny trickle of water. I mean, yeah, it's hard to imagine, like...
Explosive.
Huh?
Explosive.
It is?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Andy just spotted this. This looks like a type of explosive. Oh, you know what? No, this is a firework. The wick's right here. This is the one that, this is a professional mortar.
Tidal.
This is, they threw this in the water to blow it up underwater.
Oh, it just didn't, well, it'll still blow up then.
Well, it's probably waterlogged, but that's pretty neat. That's a huge mortar. Maybe homemade, but there's the wick. And they taped it to a rock to throw it in the water in hopes of blowing it up, but it never worked. Wow. I'm gonna have to cut that part of the video out because you're dropping the F-bombs. So you can see we're standing right in the middle of the reservoir here. We'd be underwater normally. I mean, we're standing on an elevated part here, but yeah.
Jay, this is where the ropes went, right?
Yeah. Yeah, right where these trees are down, the rope swing was right there. So it would have swung in, dropped, and did it all over again. That has me really intrigued though. I never knew that was here, obviously, because it's underwater.
It makes two of us.
I'm gonna get some pictures of that, and hopefully we can see the other side of it. This is like picking through like an old dump, like finding all these things here. I just gotta say, as sad as this situation is, it's still really interesting though, because we're finding artifacts, unique items laying around here that we never knew were here because they were underwater for decades, if not longer. And this is still just the outlet part here. We didn't even make it over to the lake yet, so this place is going to be picked over pretty well though, because we already encountered 3 or 4 people with metal detectors. I wish I had one, because I know there's a few areas, especially by the docks, where it would be ideal to find some jewelry or something. And we saw a couple other people walking around just picking up various items. So it is pretty neat. Like even something here like this, which is silly, but it's an old Pepsi bottle. Like this is probably from the 80s or 90s. And there's a rubber raft that someone didn't fare too well on. And as I showed you that bomb, which I don't think it's a bomb, I think it's a firework mortar, but either way, just random items laying on the bottom. Okay, so there's Andy. We're making our way to the back of the outlet now, and this is where it would have originated from. It's stream fed back there, I believe by Covey Swamp. And you can see it would have continued on. It's not as deep in this area. It gets deeper obviously as you go down towards the dam. But the interesting part is this is the old, or the part that I remember, the channel that connected the lake to the outlet. and it's completely exposed now. And I made reference before, and my suspicions were correct, that this is roughly about 10 feet deep here, because this is all filled up with debris. My brother and I used to bring our fishing boat through here, and you couldn't anymore, obviously, because it's all caked up with garbage and crap. But years ago, none of this was in here, and this is about 10 feet deep. So this is a deep channel, and you can kind of see how far it goes down. Shoreline would have went right across here, and I've seen numerous ATVs come rushing through here not knowing this was here and splash right into this. And it's just filled with railroad ties, some twisted metal, stone, cinder blocks, bottles. This is the only time I've ever seen it like this, completely exposed. Electrical insulator. Now here's a very sad sight right here. This is the main lake. It's almost entirely gone. Now if you look in the distance here, there's a row of blocks, and Andy believes that was for the dock for the miniature train ride. And back in the corner, I'll zoom in and show you, that whole formation there of stones and blocks was the turnaround point for the $1 million coaster. And what we're looking at here is the deepest part of the lake. A lot of people have asked, because as I mentioned already, I've snorkeled the perimeter of this lake all the way over to here and up into the corner. And the deepest part is there, which is roughly 20-25 feet deep, give or take. Obviously closer to the dance hall, and over here it is built up, but it maintains its depth for the most part towards the back, and then it starts shallowing out. And the beach is completely drained over there, exposed, so we'll get a look at that later. It's just hard to take in. Here's some more supports right here, probably from the dock. Got a stone concrete wall and these various supports. Some older bottles. Oh, just broke. So here's looking at that channel. You can see how it's built up with debris. So initially would have been down lower. But we're going to take a little walk this way and get closer to the turnaround of the $1 million coaster. So you believe this is the dock area here?
Yeah, I think these pillars we're following here are the extension of the $1 million coaster. Obviously you don't see the wood going into the stone at all, so I don't necessarily know that they're for the actual coaster itself, but they definitely follow this path. As you can see, there's one here and one here, there's one there and one there, so they're right next to each other the whole way here. So we're kind of trying to keep our eyes open. You know, people riding the coaster definitely could have lost something and it got sunk and never was found, and now it's exposed for the first time in 60 years. Might have one of those stories of somebody finding a wallet or something that we return.
So it looks like we came upon a piece of the coaster, most likely the $1 million coaster. Now it's a stacked wood. It would have had a rail somewhere on one of the sides, but it appears to be what it is. See the rows of support blocks here. Various times too you could see these sticking out of the water when the level was lower from like a dry season, but they're completely exposed now. And there's a huge block right there. And it looks like a little wooden dock there too. So just to show you, you can see how far I am in the lake right now. I'm standing almost nearly in the middle of the lake. See some people walking over there. And that's where the dance hall would have been. Beach is directly across from us. It's just, I never thought I'd be doing this right now and visualizing what I'm seeing right in front of me. This video is not going to do it justice. All I can say is if you have a chance to come here, come here. The other thing I'm wondering about too is the wildlife. This lake was very populated with fish. And I don't know if they removed them, if they're still in here. I don't know what the deal is with that. If they left them in here and drained it, they could face some hefty fines. But that's to be maybe determined at a future date.
You know you're gonna pull me right into another one, right? Hold on.
It's probably gonna break too, yeah.
Yep. Oh. We might as well just sit on our asses and crawl. You know my boots filling up with water. Go me.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's ready to break.
Oh yeah, it's. At least you guys got a laugh out of it today. Okay, we got this. I said go over there, remember? I didn't think we'd think over here. You got this?
Alright, so there's Andy. Now I was making reference when I swam this lake, snorkeled it. I came upon this little wooden structure here, thinking it was steps or something, not knowing it was a topside support for that culvert that goes underneath the ground. And when we were in the outlet, we saw the other side of that. And that's amazing that that's been here this whole time.
This area that you're standing on behind you was actually man-made in the 50s. The water actually used to go all the way over to the wall. So they may have added this in around the 50s as a secondary flow channel.
Yeah. And there's still a decent amount of water here. You can see the angle of the slope here. It's pretty steep and it keeps going down. So looking right here, the deepest part of the lake, roughly 25, maybe 30 feet the deepest. And obviously where the water is, it's the still deepest part, but once you make the turn around the bend, the shallows down to maybe 5 feet. Yeah, I remember seeing this underwater though, so it's nice to see it exposed now. And it really makes sense as to what I was looking at.
Okay, so to explain this area here, back in the 50s, the water line used to actually go all the way to kind of where the Red Barn is. The Red Barn's foundation is where that white foundation is up in the woods there. I'm sure you can see it from here. The water used to actually go just before that, right at the wall. And what happened is back in the early days, Arthur Frothingham used to have shows here that were actually on the boats, and you used to sit up in the crowd just like they did when the Red Barn was here, and they would watch the shows that were on the boats themselves. So the water line actually used to go all the way up to there. And around the 50s, they actually filled this in so that they could bring rides and stuff down here. There's early pictures of the $1 Million Coaster with the water going all the way up to the edge, and then in another flyover, the water's now all the way down to here. So it's crystal clear that you can see that they built this in later on. So the water line used to always go back to there when Frothingham was in charge, and E.S. Williams back in those days. So till about the 40s, that water line always went there.
Okay, what we're looking at here is old paddle boat docks, and I swam underneath this wood here.
There's the safe.
Is it?
Isn't it? There's a dial right there.
I might take it down and check that out. But yeah, I swam through here, and people said there'd probably be a collection of jewelry here because people drop stuff getting in and out of the boat. So if that ever does dry out, this would be a good area to check. But Andy thinks he spotted the safe down there. I'm going to take a walk down and check it out. Is it?
I don't know. I can't tell.
At a bad angle here. Could be a safe. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. It may or may not be a safe, but I definitely swam through here. There's a little deep pool here. There's probably some leftover items that fell throughout the years. Some kind of barrel or something. This is actually my little swimming hole. Used to bring my daughter here several times. And you can see it's a very sandy bottom. So this was a nice swimming hole. We'd put our stuff up there, walk in. We'd find little fish swimming here. And I remember seeing these stumps and the dock, and it used to look eerie underwater, but looking at it now, it's not so bad obviously, but everything looks different underwater. But this was a big part of my daughter's life, coming here swimming. So there's looking alongside the dance hall, and littered with junk. At one point, I believe last year, there's a refrigerator in the water. That's actually part of a bathtub right there. It's just a shame how it got littered. It looks like a fiberglass bathtub. Somebody's been here, whether it's the company that drained the lake or some individuals, but they did pick up some of the scrap metal. There's a lot of footprints here, and there was a refrigerator down here, an old style one. As you can see, I brought my drone, my DJI Spark. I was going to do some aerial footage of the drained lake and show it before and after from previous footage that I've taken, but due to the upgrade, increased security of the geofencing for drones, I'm no longer able to take off here. It labels it as a no-fly zone due to its proximity of the airport. So I will have links down below for past, prior drone footage, but as of today, it's just going to be ground footage for what you're seeing right now. It's unfortunate because it would have been a very unique look at this lake, but just have to use your imagination from here on out. But Andy has some items here he wants to discuss that have some correlation to the park.
Yeah, so within the last couple weeks, I did some bidding on eBay. I apologize if you're watching this and I outbid you, but there were two items that I really wanted that I rarely see, and I basically had to have. And they're important because right where we're standing here originally was called the Aquarium back in, I forget the actual year that it was built, I want to say it was right after the $1 Million Coaster. So we're looking at 46, 45. Right after that was the dancing was moved up the hill. Then around the 50s, this became a penny arcade. And I got two things, both a bingo chip and a penny from the penny arcade. So I'm going to let you zoom in so that you can see it. Is the shade better or the sun?
Sun's good.
Okay. Yep, I'll turn it upside down. So it's penny arcade. And you can see it says Rocky Glen Park on it. So it's probably been a good 50 to 60 years since this coin has actually been at this spot. And it's back once again to for one last time at least. And also I got a bingo card, chip I should say, Rocky Glen Bingo, good for one free game. I'm gonna go and see if I can cash this in, but I don't know if I'll get a good game.
Now while we're here, I'll give you a look down lake here. I'll zoom in once I get to the end of the dock, and you'll see it's littered with tree stumps. And you can see lots of footprints. People have been down here already scavenging, trying to find items, because this is a rare opportunity. They can walk in the bottom of a lake without any risk of getting soaked, except for sinking in the mud. This is, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I'm going to zoom in here now and then pull the zoom out, so give me 1 second. This looks to be the remnants of the slide that used to be in the middle of the lake for the swimmers. You climb up it and slide down. And we are standing on the remnants of Sandy Beach. It's almost unrecognizable now. Just to let you know, if we do hear any developments as to what the plan is for this, we will keep you updated in the comment section, both under this video and under the Facebook Memories page. Speculation is that they may be clearing out the lake to repair the dam, clean up the lake. All the reports are saying that it's going to be developed into homes, so future's unknown. But this is where we're going to wrap up the video. Leave your comments down below. Tell us your thoughts about what you saw here today, what you think may be going on, any memories you want to share. I have lots of memories that came back to me being here. Every time I come here, they come back. But seeing it now, it's a much different feel and vibe to the place. Much sadder feeling to it. But if you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell. I have a bunch of playlists, including one dedicated for Rocky Glen, which has all my videos on here. And if you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. I'm going to turn over to Andy. He'll tell you his departing thoughts.
Well, it is weird to see it this way. You know, I equate it to a recent show I started watching. Maybe you may have seen it. It's on Amazon. It's called The Man in the High Castle. And the premise is that we lost World War II, and the Nazis actually took over America. And, you know, long story short, in season 3, it actually ended up in Lackawanna County, which was weird when I was watching it. Like, I can't believe they ended up here. And in the storyline, to really get a rise out of people, they started taking historical artifacts and destroying them. They melted down the Liberty Bell, and they destroyed the Statue of Liberty in the end. Of course, the storyline. But it was weird to see that. You're like, wow, it gave you chills. I kind of had that same feeling as I watched this, because this is my equivalent of them melting down the Liberty Bell. Even though it was still a lake and nothing here, they're still trying to wipe out everything years later of what was here. What does the future hold? We don't know yet. There's speculation that, yes, they're going to build houses. They might rebuild it. Not the park, rebuild the lake. But who knows what's really going to happen. You know, it's just, it's up in the air. But it is sad to see nothing here.
But memories will stay alive through the Facebook Memories page, Rocky Glen Memories Facebook page, I should say.
Yeah, feel free to join up. You know, Rocky Glen Park Memories. Just search it on Facebook. Join it, like it, share it. A lot of tacos on there. Yeah, yes, there are people who think the park could come back someday. If this doesn't convince you it's never coming back, nothing will.
All right, guys, thanks so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.